and is a threat to safety. So
Sounds like a
cause
lot of
deaths.
work they wouldn't want to go through.
Right. So once they do that, then after the 3 years, the temporary schedule is lifted and it becomes permanently scheduled. But you can't do that with a substance that has already been made legal by federal law. Right. So that's the caveat. Is
If the government, the federal government already said industrial hemp,
is legal.
then you can't
Yeah,
change that.
yeah, you can't change that law. You can't create a rule that backdoors it in.
Contradicts,
Yeah, yeah, because that's what they tried to do. So, I mean, it's going to be very interesting next couple of months.
Reforming medical marijuana policy in the state of Texas. But between you got industrial hemp on the one side, and you got medical marijuana on the other. What are some efforts that you believe Green Lotus Hemp and Texas Wellness Center have done to kind of expand on the greater topic of medical marijuana reform as well as industrial hemp?
We've been working for the past 12 months with the state to try to, figure out the compassionate use program regulations. A lot of people, a lot of people talk real negatively about the program, and it's what I think people fail to understand is that, first of all, nobody's saying that that program is perfect by any means whatsoever, right? But you have to start somewhere, right? So, and then you have some people that say, "Oh no, well screw that, I can't support that," and I understand their position, and I understand how they feel. I think we all truly feel that, but
Well, when you say people can't support that, you're saying that it's you have to slow down before you speed up.
yeah, people don't want to support the compassionate use program. People don't want to support some of the new bills that have been introduced because they don't have home grow provisions, because they don't have this or have that. Well, I mean, it's just, I mean, the fact is that you're in a very conservative political state.
Yes.
So, if it's about strategically, slowly making steps that eventually in 5 years will get us to where we all want to be.
Well, and then I agree with that 100%. The point of the cannabis culture and the movement is that there is a method, and I mean, just shout out to our fans about this. There is a method for us to reform cannabis law at the state level and even at the municipal level. It's just you got to know, yeah, you got to know how to play the game. You got to be ready to throw punches, and then I personally think, well, as a veteran, like, well, what could they be doing at the state level to help out the veterans and the patients? Because yeah, the compassionate
Yeah.
use program, TCUP, its main drive and force is for patients, it's for veterans, it's for sick people, and then that's a lot of our audience that some are split medically for medical reform, some are split for recreational reform. What's a tip you would give to people that are watching that feel one is more important than the other?
I think that, I mean, I'm an activist. I've sacrificed the last 14 years of my life for this industry. And we all sacrifice our freedom and our safety being in this industry. I mean, I think it's important that we have reform at the highest level. But what is that reform going to look like? Are we just is the federal government going to hand that industry over to the pharmaceutical industry? It's a tough thing, man. I would say that we have to take small steps. And small steps will eventually turn into large steps, will eventually get us where we need to go. And it's unfortunate because a lot of families don't have access and they have to relocate.
I don't even think that it's wrong to say the government shouldn't be making people move to get the assistance that they need. When you have a family, like I know you've seen the people who've decided that they want to leave the state of Texas to go find the help that they need and go find the medicine that they need. They're not wrong for that. It still reflects a lack of progress on Texas.
Definitely. Well, I mean, I think definitely Texas is slow, right? But it could be worse. You could be living in Alabama, where Alabama has no legislation. I mean, you could be living in Oklahoma. I mean, so, I'm always a kind of, I try to be level-headed when taking a side with these kinds of things, right? Because you can't be too extreme either way. You got to be kind of somewhere in the middle, and being somewhere in the middle allows you to put yourselves in certain positions to where maybe you can help pass some of those things. right? Because if you're really extreme, they tend not to listen to you, right? So you got to put yourself in a position to where, what's the best way to say it, man? I mean, you just have to be strategic about how you try to accomplish things.
You gotta crawl before you walk, and I mean,
You have to, man. I mean, you have to. I mean, people. Did any of us really expect Texas to go full medical like California the first time that it passed? You know what I mean? It's just it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And hey, man, I support a lot of the legislation that's been introduced this session. You know, I think a lot of it's positive. Some people say, you know, I don't support it because it doesn't have home grows. I wish that we could have that, but I mean, the
we can
reality
get to
is,
that though.
we'll get to it eventually. It's just that's not going to happen right now. So somebody can write a bill with home grows and this and these other things, and you know, you know, and I love people that support that. Right? It's like I feel them. I feel them. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of the matter is, it's not going to pass right now.
So, yeah, like they're right to feel that way and to feel kind of resentful. It is, like you said, it's a slippery slope. I mean, you don't have to be, we're not enemies, basically, is what we're all saying right now. Nobody's an enemy. Yes, if it was up to me tomorrow, cannabis is legal, do what you want with it, and that's the end of it. But that's not, and then like I think it's true even with the basic level legislation that's happened in other states. Such and such is a patient. They've used everything, and please can we try this just for research? And they've gotten positive results. Same thing with the veteran population in certain communities. It came through research, it came through facts, and it came through identifying that there's something we don't understand about the cannabis plant, or there's something we're not wrapping our head around.
I mean, it depends. There's two sides, right? I mean, there is the medical, the research side, right? And then there's people that just want to regulate it like tomatoes and grow it in your backyard, you know, which I mean, but to each his own, you know. I mean, I think that I try to be real open-minded about that. I try to respect everybody's opinion, you know, and because at the end of the day, we're all trying to accomplish the same thing. And it's unfortunate that, you know, as a community, we divide ourselves by nuances, you know, as to what we want or what you want or what he wants or what the perfect law looks like, you know, and we divide ourselves and we don't support the movement in general together, because some people want medical, some people want rec, some people want this in their medical bill, some people want that. And at the end of the day, man, we all want the same thing, you know, but we have to, you have to work with the hand that you're dealt, right, and do what you can to try to improve that, you know, little by little. And that's basically all that it comes down to.
Carlos, I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for coming on the Round Table. Thank you guys for watching Round Table. Shout out to the fans, and yeah, we'll be right back.